Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Anders here with SkinClub, and in this episode we're going to be taking a look at how ZywOo reacts to different kind of utility using Skybox Edge. And as per usual, you guys are going to be helping me do my homework and kind of walk through something. I'm really not sure how this is going to be playing out, so it's going to be a bit of an interesting test, I think, for all involved, but it should be fun, and I've got some new ideas that I really want to try and test out and see if we can all become a little bit wiser. I think there are certain questions in Counter-Strike that are hard to answer. One of them might be something like, how does a player react to certain bits of utility, like apart from the fact that we can all watch the game, but looking at it in aggregate and with a lot of stats and enough sort of rounds to look at, I think it's a bit different, and I might have a way to test that out. I'm not 100% sure what's going to happen here, so bear with me. We'll all find out together, I suppose. I'm going to jump into the platform here. We're going to start to look at the playbook, and the reason that I want to start here is because I kind of want to make sure I know the positions that ZywOo plays on Mirage. Now, I think I do, but let's just make sure for the sake of science, or whatever it is. So, in the playbook on the CT side of Mirage here, we have this tab called Positions, where we can go and investigate exactly what's going on. So, we can narrow this down by time. I'm just going to say, I really don't care. I want to see all the positions that ZywOo is playing, whether he's standing still, or he's, slow or fast, or whenever it is in the round. I just want all of it. And he's playing the CT all-round position, which just means he's playing with the AWP and moving around a lot. That makes sense. I'm going to start by the window. That's where he spends an enormous amount of time. So we know this is a position that people will want to try and counter him in. That's worth knowing. We know how to do that mostly. We're going to look at the CT start position. I suppose this one is a bit misleading because this is where he's going to be transitioning probably from the window and back towards the CT spawn, position over at A. So I don't want to read too much into it. This one I care more about. That's probably the correct one. This one is just because he starts there and he moves around a lot. Then we've got the connector position. Again, that's sort of his other, I say that's the third position. And then he's inside of the connector for the next one. Those two we can probably treat as more or less the same. So that's a pretty good, beginning, I guess, data set to look at. I think if we change these around a little bit, eventually this B short position is going to be showing up. I check this a lot. I feel like he's almost always only B shot if, one, they have pistols and, they have some sort of really low buy, or he's rotating in to try and do something else. So, not that that's not interesting, but I feel like the data set there is maybe a little bit different and maybe less worth paying that much attention to. So I'm just going to be looking at the A positions for this video, and we'll see how it kind of plays out. Okay, so now that we have at least some idea of where he likes to play on the CT side, let's try and dive into the next step, and I'll walk you through some of the madness that I've been looking at here. So we're going to go to the pattern finder. I'm just going to refresh this one just to kind of make sure that we have the, no caching issues or anything else like that. And we're going to start to load in all the rounds. In theory, I would want to look at more than the last 3 months, but at the same time, it's just, it's a lot of data to walk through, so I think we'll cap it at this and just be happy that we got what we got here. If you're new to what the pattern finder looks like, you haven't seen any of the videos, these are all the grenades that, at the moment, Vitality are throwing on their CT side. So, a lot of stuff to look at here. I actually don't care where Vitality throw grenades for this particular test, so I'm going to only really worry about smoke. So you could add Molotovs to this, but then I'm going to check this box that says opponents of Vitality. So now we're talking about the T side, whoever they're playing, throwing grenades. That's what we're looking at here. So the first position that we care about is this one, right? That's where he's going to get smoked off if he's playing in this position. Like I said, you could add Molotovs. Maybe we'll do that. Let's just pretend and then make it very neat so that it's only inside of the window here. Let's say it's smokes and Molotovs. That's how you might counter this position if you don't want ZywOo to shoot you from here. It's a pretty good idea to throw some smokes and Molotovs in there at some point. So that's good. We have a bit of a timeline down here of when this is happening. I'm just going to cut this timeline pretty close to when the grenades are actually thrown. But so far, that's about 109 rounds. That's way too much to deal with. Now, we have the smokes ready. I want to see when ZywOo is actually playing here. So I'm going to add this player modification, and then I'm going to draw this box. This is where things get a bit tricky, I suppose, because you could sort of make an argument that you should probably add the area around here as much as you can, just to make it reasonable. That's still an enormous amount of rounds. So maybe we just kind of make it like a really tight sort of circle here. And then let's say, again, we're going to slow this right down so that we're going to overlap a little bit here. It's probably pretty good. That's about 80 rounds. Let's start there. We don't have to watch all 80. Really, we're just trying to get a sense of how this plays out. But clicking the button, we're going to get right into it. So what we should be seeing now are rounds where at some point in this round, when ZywOo's actually here, so you can see this is at the start of the round, and he's just going to run away. So, fine, that was his reaction. He ran away. Let's see if it's a similar thing here. Yeah, he's right there at the start, comes back into it. Okay, already, I've learned something. I'm going to change my mind on this. I actually want to go back and quickly modify my search result here. Because I think the problem is if we get all these early round grenades, it's not gonna tell us what we want to know. We kind of want to know what's happening a little bit later on. So I'm just gonna make an executive decision and say let's say we don't want the first round grenades because very likely he's gonna move away from them. That could be fun to look at too. Maybe there are rounds where he doesn't, but for the minute, let's just look at these rounds instead. So now we're down to something that should be let's see, should be about 18 rounds if I'm not wrong. Let's see, like this. 18. Yeah. Is that 18? It's too much for me to count. Let's assume that this is roughly right. So we're going to get smoke in there. He tries to take... Look at just... I'm going to zoom in like this. Look at how he's trying to peek right up until the last moment when that happens. Okay, let's look at the next one here. Let's see. Where is ZywOo? Okay, so we're in the stage where it's not right off the bat, but he gets to spend a little bit of time. The window smoke fails. So because the window smoke fails, he's sticking around. Molotov lands in front. He's sticking around. Now there's another smoke, and he's just going to try and reply by throwing some deep nades. He's got people in here anyway, so he doesn't really have to stick around. But he's walking away from this one. That was his reaction ultimately. Here. Smoke's landing. He's too late to try and block it, which he does love to do. And so he's going to walk away from this one and kind of go and, take up position somewhere else. Does come back and presumably this stage is waiting to see if anyone's going to be walking through. I have noticed in general... Oh, and he's going to get flashed in too. All right. All cool reactions to this idea, right? I've noticed that ZywOo is unbelievably... I was going to say nervous, that's the wrong word, but he's very, very careful about smokes that the enemies put up. Like, he really watches them. Here, they don't quite body block it, but you can block it up against the back wall too. They don't really do that. So anyway, they spend some time, they got ROPs in there, and because of that, there's no reason to stick around here, presumably. But even then, look at him going back to check. Like, he's just... always so careful that he's not overlooking anything. So, maybe not the most interesting reaction, but it's alright. Here again, sniping away. Okay, throws a bit of a deep Molotov, comes back, but mostly he's just out of there, right? He's not going to try and blow it open himself. There's nothing really like that happening. This is a round where it lands and he's just already jumping out. That might have been a plan from the start. I mean, it probably is. You could see Flames is also throwing grenades. Like, they really want to be aggressive here. So still, I think that's an out of spawn call. So it's not really his reaction to the smoke. It's just the team already had a different plan in mind. But that's fine. Here we've got ZywOo. Smoke lands. He's waiting. Takes a bit of damage through. Tries to take a shot, presumably right across, but sticks around. Still, you could see, like, these double takes, just making sure that nobody can easily sneak through. Comes back again, still watching the smoke. Like, he's so vigilant at watching these smokes, which is, I guess, it's not unexpected. It's just cool to see, I think. It's a nice thing to see him not just say, oh, it's smoked, I'm running away. Could see here, Rops is essentially ready to blow open the smoke for him. We'll see if they actually will do that. Yeah, there's the setup for it. Okay. So if he's got some backup here, he's ready to do that. That's interesting to think about. Can we see him do it on his own? Because there definitely are players that will do that a lot more. Smoke goes up. ZywOo, not immediately there yet. Comes back here. Okay, so smoke is still up when he goes back into it. I'm saying it because I'm kind of validating whether or not our data set down here is correct, but so far it is. That's nice to see. He goes inside. Again, not quite. This time he does actually straight walk away, but presumably it's because Rops is actually holding this angle, so he doesn't need to hold it any longer. Good communication, by the way, that he's not checking it when Rops is. But again, like, not too much happening. Like, he just is sticking, he's just kind of walking away from it. Let's see if we can... Again, I have no idea what we're about to see here. This one, let's see. ZywOo comes in. All right, so we caught him on the other side here. It's one of the few times when he's over on this side, which is kind of interesting. Charges through to try and take a bit of fight. And let's see. Robs is there. ZywOo eventually should get close enough by. Okay. So it might have been one of the rounds here that belongs to the other data set. I mean, we might have cached that in the browser. I've noticed that my browser is a little bit wonky with this sometimes, so it's Chrome. I can't be helped at this stage. I'm locked into it. At any rate, smoke is up. ZywOo's there. Okay, he will throw the grenade himself this time, so that's cool to see. And he just waits it out the full length of it. Goes back. Okay. Really committed to it in this round. Smoke up. Holding, holding, holding. Smoke up again, holding, holding. Look at how much time he spends. It's so crazy that it's that much time. He did only have, I think, a pistol in this round, but still, it's just kind of interesting to really see him do this, in my opinion. Comes back into it. Doesn't actually blow open the smoke as much as he's just trying to, find a space. They execute on the other side. Smoke up. Holding it. Ooh, did he find, like, a gap in there? Yeah, it might have been like a 1 second gap. That's so crazy. Taking out 9-10. I'd be so annoyed. Smoke is up, and this time he's trying to play on top of this one. Don't think you see anything, but when it fades, he's ready. So that's a whole nother way to do it that we haven't really seen from him yet. Again, I would say the variability in how he plays this is another thing that makes him such a nightmare to be up against. Because it is just so annoying. This time, playing through it, like he's in the window, looking to take this fight. He doesn't actually, get the kill there, but still, just even more variability in how this one plays out. Let's see. All right, this time he's in the middle a little bit later on. Smoke goes up, own smoke really, but okay. So maybe that one's a bit of a dud from a data point of view. Anyway, really interesting to see. So we're going to go back here. That was one of the positions. Now I'm going to refresh this, hope that it clears everything out, and then we'll try and do it again. We want the opponents of Vitality, and kind of want to take a look at the other position that he plays quite a bit, which is going to be towards this connector position. And I guess in this case, I would sort of want to know what happens if people throw smokes to this position while ZywOo is playing on the other side of that. Again, I'm interested in very, very, very specific reactions to this kind of thing. So let's just say here we're at about 20 rounds. Yeah, let's see how this one plays out. Again, I truly don't know for sure how this is going to work out. So let's just see. I didn't do the timeline thing, I suppose. So you can make an argument that we need to change that around a bit, but for the minute, let's just do it like this. So, smoke is up. He doesn't feel like doing anything. This is also a pistol round, so clear choice to retake from this one. Not so much anything else, just a team decision, so to speak. Here we've got him playing on the other side. Pistols against rifles. Tries to be aggressive. Doesn't really work out. Maybe not. Some of these early rounds, not the most telling ones. Here we got ZywOo playing on top as he is trying to play in front. I don't know if that's to body block or not, but it doesn't really work out. A lot of grenades thrown to try and save flames, presumably down here. And they're kind of late on that. And then you can see they give up on saving him as soon as, well, he's dead. So there's no saving him. But yeah, waiting around so far on the other side of the smoke, some of the time at least. Here we are somewhere in overtime, I guess. See, smoke's going up. Okay, so very occupied making sure that then he's not getting flanked, right, before he sort of goes back and checks. And now he's got Rops in the middle, so he can check a bit less, maybe. But yeah, kind of sewn down. Oh, that's... Again, he's so careful, right? Like, Rops was just there, so there was an easy... There was a chance that Jacob could have walked through, right? That's a real thing that could have happened. But he's just so careful. Again, very interesting to see. This time he was in window, and then they execute behind him. And because he's got teammates on the other side, he makes the decision to go through. That is something that I'm going to make a mental note of. And see if we can catch some more rounds where he's doing that. Because that could be very telling of how he wants to play, you know. Here we've got already, early on here, right, the smokes are coming up. We'll see if I had adjusted the timelines, we would have seen him play here later on. But yeah, so this is just not the round that we're looking for. I should probably do the timeline thing, but we'll leave it for now. He's in the position. He does body block that one. He is really a big fan of doing that, like in multiple places. And then because he's body blocked it, he can go back and play in front of it like this in a different way. So super sick stuff, like gets the kill. He's playing with the team again, like he's committed to helping them when they are there and alive. Super good, super cool to see him switch up what kind of defense it is. Like, all right, let's see if he does it again. Flames and Apex are alive on the other side. ZywOo's there. Did he do anything early on? No, no flashes thrown, no nothing. He's going to go back and try and retake it from this position. You got to wonder why that is. Feels like there would have been a big opportunity here to try and maybe help out, but maybe that's just because the smoke, he didn't get the body blocker this time. Goes back. Again, whether or not they win this round is sort of irrelevant to the point that we're trying to make here, or at least that we're trying to test out. Smoke up. And then, again, look at how careful he's being, right? Catches Dumao walking through. Is aware that there could be another player. Lux will take him down, but you see how hard it is to walk up on him, even though all of this stuff behind him should be a big distraction, right? He's still hard to find. Smoke up. He wanted to block it, I think, which is why he's out that front. He just dies. Carson's there to get him. We have, at some point, we have to stop American players from spelling the names backwards. I've done my part. You guys haven't. I feel like we need to bully them more, and then maybe they will stop. Smoke goes up. Playing not really to that side. Another smoke comes in. His teammates kind of die, right? Like they're sort of dead before he can do anything, right? Like he's busy holding the other side. Sucks. I don't know. It would have been fun to see him coordinate this one better with somebody else. But all right. This time we've got the smokes going up. What kind of a weird gap is this? Anyway, he wants to play because Apex is still there, so he really wants to make his way through. I don't know why he's not dead the first time around, but good job on Apex. But again, I think more evidence that he is willing to try and fight his way through when, you know, when there's a teammate on the other side, which is kind of... Again, we're really looking for tendencies. We're trying to answer the question of how does he react to certain utility on this map when he's in a certain position. That's really the overarching question, just to remind everyone kind of what we're doing here. Let's see. Apex is there. Smoke goes up. ZywOo wants to get through again. Like, he really wants to help out, right? Like, he's not risking it all, but he really wants to play for this distraction. So that's a very clear, I would say, pattern. And this is why, as I should say, this is why I care about this stuff. Like, as a caster, this is the sort of stuff I want to know, because I want to be able to talk about this before it happens. I want to be able to say, hey, guys, listen. When that smoke wall goes up, if ZywOo's on the other side, he's going to want to come through. I also know, because we looked at it earlier, that if we're in a case where this smoke is up, he's probably going to be holding it quite a lot. Like, he's going to be content to just sit around and wait. You know, those are, for me, as just a viewer of the game, but also as a caster, I think it's really interesting to know this so that we can talk about it before it happens, right? Like, again, he's right through. As long as they're alive on the other side, he wants to go for it. Super committed to that task here. Obviously flashed in as well. But yeah, such good work, like getting through and really helping out the team. And he's a careful player. Like, he really is a careful player a lot of the time. So it's fun to look at. This time, you could see he wants to throw a flashbang here for Apex, but they just all die before he can do it. So, and he was on the other side, so fair play. Again, ZywOo's there. Teammates are already dead on the other side, right? So by the time he can even get there, like, it's too late. There's no getting through that one. So tries to go for the retake. Okay, let's be happy with this. There's interesting information. Let's look at the last one. We'll make the CT spawn position the last spot that we're looking for. So just refreshing everything. I want to say that's clear out my cache. Someone's probably going to be in the comments saying that's not how browsers work, but what the hell do I know? Okay, we're looking for the opponents of Vitality, and we want to know what happens when they throw grenades here. That's only going to be about 8 rounds. Could that really be? I guess that could be fair enough. And we'll just limit it to the time where they actually throw them. Ooh, I wonder if there are any of those rounds where ZywOo is actually in this position. I guess we can make it like a bit of a broader one, just so we catch them. Okay, that's about to be about 4 rounds. Wait, 4 or 8? What are we doing here? 4 rounds. Okay. Oh, because if I take the spawn with, I'm super stupid. Let's just do this one. 4 rounds. And we'll limit it similarly to... Not that I think it makes any difference at this stage, but I do love this when you kind of do this. But no more playing. We'll do this. We'll look at these. Call them... Why does it make a difference? 3 rounds? Ah, let's look at the 3 rounds. I'm okay with that. So 3 rounds where we should be seeing ZywOo playing around this area when the smokes are down. So he actually starts really far away, right? And then he kind of goes back here. This is when they end up smoking it. Okay, so something definitely not quite right on the data front. That's kind of interesting. Back here again. I'm guessing this is a caching. This is the dreaded caching issue I was talking about. Hold on. Let me try and go back to the playbook. We'll do a bit of a reset. We'll do a bit of reset here. There must be a way to manually reset or like clear out the cache in Chrome in a smarter way that I'm not aware of. Well, let's find out. So we're back now looking just at the smokes. And it's inside this box. That's 8 rounds. And then we want to know player movement by ZywOo sort of roughly in this area. 4 rounds. Let's see if we can get that. Moving in, moving in. I wonder if this is... No, it can't even be that. That's so interesting. There we go. All right. Let's just pretend the other round doesn't happen. I'll report it to the development team. But yeah, here he is. I think this is significant, right? He is here only because he kind of got put away from the other position, right? So he doesn't really start there. Does he start here in this round? So yeah, here's a round where he actually starts in this position, but in all of the other ones... He just doesn't. Goes back, plays on the other side. You know, again, holding the smoke, waiting for teammates, all the rest of it. Let's see how this one plays out. Where is he in this one? Playing all the way on the other side? No, alright, he's playing in the smoke there. Goes through, goes through. Yeah, so he's kind of close enough by. But not really playing there. So that's really interesting. He's not really playing in this position that much. What if we go back and we just remove this box altogether? How many rounds at all can I see ZywOo in this area? 55. But if I take away the start of it... Because he has to kind of run through there, I suppose, right? That's the thing to think about. We're down to about 40 rounds. I'm just curious now, how many of those rounds are actually... Where does he come from? Yeah, so these are all the rounds where he gets smoked off somewhere else. And then in none of these rounds, he ever really gets smoked off from this position. Like, how interesting is that? I don't even know what that means. I genuinely don't know what that means. I would have bet my life that in both this position and in this position, he was going to get smoked off, and we would be seeing, you know, like this was my whole thesis at the start of the video, right? Is we're going to have to see how does he react to getting smoked in these positions. Turns out he doesn't get smoked in this position. That's what we're learning. How curious. So once he's down here, he just isn't smoked, and presumably that's because it just happens later on. Does that just mean that people are so focused on using smokes for these positions instead, and they just don't have enough to smoke CT spawn when they get to it? They try and deal with it some other way. Okay, now we're just improvising. Let's say we have this, and then we want to add some utility. Let's say it's the opponents of Vitality throwing Molotovs to this position. It can't really be that. That's no rounds either. So people just deal with it throwing flashbangs to this position? Presumably. That's 7 rounds. Is that it? That's how they're planning to deal with it? Flashing it? I'm so confused about this. Yeah, just so few rounds. I'm gonna have to consult with somebody smarter than me about this, because I'm sort of blown away by that result. I don't think I expected that. I expected for there to be much more of a default, what I would consider at any rate, sort of a default smoke thrown in this position just to try and get rid of somebody like ZywOo, since we know it's kind of his third most played position on the map early on, or really at any point in the round. So very, very curious how often this is just left to being all flashes and not much else. What an interesting result. Okay, well, I hope you guys took something away from this. I realized at the end, the video got derailed by the fact that I just didn't see what was coming there, but that's also why we're doing this stuff. Like I said, from the start, I am essentially trying to do my homework with you guys watching over my back and hopefully learning something along the way. If you like this sort of content, definitely let me know. I'm so curious if I'm the only one that sort of, you know, suffers from a certain degree of just extreme nerdiness, or if you know, there are other people out there who also care about this stuff. I think it's really interesting. So do let me know. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Leave a comment down below, and thank you for watching.